It's official. Carlos Sainz has signed a contract with Williams. Who knew? It's not like we were only talking about it yesterday, eh? This one where he's got the optionality. If something crops up at the Bulls that are red or Mercedes, then indeed he can go across to there, can't he? Oh, the humanity, but now they're reporting on it. I feel like the embargo has just ceased, and so BBC are nailing it. Andrew Benson reports Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz is set to join Williams, James Vowles Williams, next season on what the team has termed a multi-year contract. 29-year-old Carlos Sainz Jr., the Spaniard, has lost his seat for Ferrari, yada yada yada. Of course, Lewis Hamilton will replace him as at 2025. Carlos Sainz has picked Williams over other opportunities at Sauber, Alpine, which will become Audi's factory team 2026. Yeah, we know all that. Get to the point, Andrew Benson of BBC. Sainz has said, I'm fully confident that Williams is the right place for me to continue my F1 journey, and I'm extremely proud of joining such a historic and successful team. No kidding, Sherlock. Where many of my childhood heroes drove in the past and made their mark on the sports. Priestley, Ayrton Senna back in the day, Damon Hill, etc. etc. I'm convinced that this team is the right team moving forward and has all the ingredients to make history again. And starting on January 1st, I will give my absolute best to drive Williams forward. Oh, the humanity. This is chaos. And I can't help but feel bad for Carlos Sainz Jr. because, again, the F1 music has stopped and he hasn't got a chair upon which to sit down, and that is chaotic. I was just talking to Peter Windsor about this and he equally feels bad. Doesn't it feel right that Carlos Sainz Jr., a works driver, a works quality driver, is now sat at a customer team? And of course, in that negotiation, he will have been lured, attracted by the fact that Williams will have themselves a Mercedes engine as at 2026. That engine, that power unit, by the way, is meant to be market leading. Oh, the humanity. Sainz, continues Benson, has won 3 Grand Prix since 2021, yada, yada, yada. Red Bull re-signed Sergio Checo Perez until the end of 2026, 2 months ago. And although the Mexican is at risk of being dropped after a disappointing run of form, the team didn't want to put Sainz alongside Max Verstappen. Why? Oh, the humanity, because of course in 2015-16, Carlos Sainz Jr. sat alongside one Maximilian Verstappen, and that didn't go so well. Dr. Helmut Marko there, of course, pulling for his charge Maximilian Verstappen. Carlos Sainz Sr. and team pulling for their charge Carlos Sainz Jr. It was one of these. Franz Tost didn't like it. Toro Rosso settings, did he? We work in unison, uniformly even. Dr. Helmut Marko advised some of those engineers, that pit crew, that you work for me. Indeed, you serve one Maximilian Verstappen. Take orders from me, therefore, and not from team principal Franz Tost. Third team members were sacked. Dr. Helmut Marko, being the man that he is, rehired them back into parent member team Red Bull. For the avoidance of doubt, Dr. Helmut Marko said, you lot work for me and you're here to serve Maximilian Verstappen. Oh, the humanity. Mercedes had their sights, continues Andrew Benson, set on convincing Max Verstappen to join them from Red Bull, which, if it happens, is most likely to happen as at 2026. You see, Benson's now talking about this. Oh, the humanity. And they are poised to promote 17-year-old Mercedes Italian talent Andrea Kimi Antonelli to replace Hamilton alongside George Russell next year. Sainz was left with a choice of 3, Alpine, Williams and Sauber. He's chosen Williams. Williams are most likely to progress in the next couple of years, yada, yada, yada. Sainz will now join British-born Thai Alex Albon, who is also in a multi-year contract. In Alex and Carlos, we have the most formidable driver lineup on the grid, yada, 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 says James Vowles. And that might be, he might be close, but you argue in James Vowles that Sainz and Albon over Oscar and Lando, or over Lewis and Leclerc even. Behave yourself. Come on, chap. People should be in no doubt about our ambition, our momentum, yada, yada, yada. The decision likely means that the end of the F1 career for Logan Sargeant, who has been with Williams for 2023. Sargeant, of course, is the biggest loser in this F1 automotive pugilism equation. Again, another material underperformer, but he's young, sophomore year settings. But listen, F1 is a story where what have you done for me lately, can get my words out, is all, of course, that counts. Wipe your eyes, mate. Dry your tears, Cameron, for Logan Sargeant. He's been comprehensively outperformed by Alex Albon in their 18 months together. It looks likely, or unlikely even, to earn another season in F1. So for the avoidance of doubt, to summarise, Logan Sargeant is gonzo as of 2025. Carlos Sainz is in at Williams. Oh, the humanity. This is going to get techie next year, I'm telling you. I haven't heard any mention of these sub-clauses, however, as far as Carlos Sainz Jr.'s contract. We know, again, 99% sure, yeah, that Alex... Oh, hang on, here we go. Who's going to be able to tell me about this contract? Because I'm pretty sure that Carlos Sainz will have it in there as a clause, potentially not part of this PR release that's just been embargoed. But I'm pretty sure that he will have in his contract a cheeky clause. And in that clause, it will say something to this effect. If something should crop up at the Bulls that are red or Mercedes, Carlos Sainz can render his brand new contract with Williams null and void with immediate effect. That means that if Red Bull, on the back of the conversations that Helmut Marko and Christian Horner are going to have at some point this week, if they decide to jettison the Mexican Minister of Defense and need themselves another driver, if they decide that Carlos Sainz Jr. is the man for that job, this contract with Williams, set to kick in as at 2025, will be null and void with immediate effect. Same too, if Toto Wolff decides that Andrea Kimi Antonelli might not necessarily be progressing at the rate that they expected, notwithstanding his overtaking of other drivers at Eau Rouge this weekend in the wet, if that all of a sudden does one of these as far as Andrea Kimi Antonelli's ability to expedite for his F1 learning curve, all of a sudden Carlos Sainz Jr. could be in there as well. There are caveats in this, and as I'm seeing it reported, not too many people are paying attention to that, are they? Benson completely glosses over it as if that's not existing, but it is indeed a thing if rumour on the F1 curb, word on the F1 curb is to be believed. Motorsport writes, Carlos Sainz will race for Williams in Formula 1 next year in what the team has described the deal that goes into championship new rules in 2026. After learning, he will be leaving, same old spiel. 2026 and beyonds, they keep saying this is a party line that they're all towing, isn't it? Motorsport.com included. He replaced Logan Sargeant and race alongside Alex Albon next year, the Anglo tie. Oh, the humanity. The statement and later confirmation from Val suggests Sargeant will not lose his drive mid-year, as has twice been rumoured. So what's that about? People are saying that Andrea Kimi Antonelli might be sandwiched into that Williams seat if Logan Sargeant continues to underperform as soon as Monza. Why Monza, I hear you ask? Well, because Andrea Kimi Antonelli needs to be 18 to qualify himself for a super licence. He turns 18 the weekend of the Monza Grand Prix, or the week even. It's going to get chaotic. It's no secret this year that the drivers' market, says Carlos Sainz, has been exceptionally complicated for various reasons, and that it has taken me some time to announce my decision. However, I'm fully confident that Williams is the right place for me to continue my F1 journey, says Carlos Sainz, and I'm extremely proud of joining such a historic and successful team where many of my childhood heroes drove. Yeah, we've read that statement. All very buttoned up, eh? It sounds good. It does sound quite decent, this from Carlos Sainz. And you know what, overall, if I'm going to be honest, David B, what you're saying is a bit better. Overall, I'm glad that Carlos Sainz is staying in F1. That was the worst case scenario, that this chap was no longer going to be here. Again, the F1 music had stopped, and the only chap worthy who'd been left without a chair was the man from Madrid, one Carlos Sainz Jr. Oh, the humanity. A bit techie, this. I'm glad that this chap will still be around. He will be signed for Williams. However, what I'm not hearing from any of these publications, unless we forget that all F1 publications are made equal, but some are made more equal than others. What I'm not hearing from any of these F1 publications is the fact that Carlos Sainz Jr. has within his contract with Williams terms to this effect. If indeed there is a seat that frees up at one of Red Bull or Mercedes, between now and the time he starts in January 1st, or at any time during his tenure as a Williams driver, and Carlos Sainz so sees it fit to join either Red Bull or Mercedes, then he can render that contract null and void. Oh, the humanity. What are we doing here, Carlos Sainz Jr.? Do you think that dude is crazy? There is no way in hell he's going to pass up an opportunity. As he said on a gazillion occasions now during press conferences et al., no way he's going to pass up a seat at a championship/race winning team like Red Bull or Mercedes. What are we doing here? Congratulations, Carlos Sainz Jr., one of the goatiest F1 minds in the game of the 20 currently on the grid, signs himself a contract with Williams. Props, sir. But what are we doing here?